Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Skittles McGee.
You need to promote yourself properly so people know who you are. 'Cause you have a brand to sell.
My name is Otto Pritz Fisher.
And my name is Greg Russ.
Yeah. 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 Guess what I'm trying to do?
What?
Solve a Rubik's Cube. It's really hard.
What is this, 1972?
Yeah. Well, it feels like something, I'm a smart person. Let me do this. I can do this.
Shut up.
And it's really hard. I'm watching this guy explain it, and I still have trouble following it.
Well, you should have called me on my inaccuracy. The Rubik's Cube didn't come out until May 19th, 1974.
Well, you said the 70s.
I said 72. I said, what is this, 1972?
Oh, well, you were,
Shut
happening?
up.
What is that?
It's the Slack.
Is your company going crazy today?
It's fixed.
Okay.
I muted notifications for an hour. This is life now. I was thinking about this, that things are just beeping at you constantly.
Yeah. I don't have anything turned on, so I don't hear any beeping at me.
Alert, alert. I'm here, making noise.
Alert.
I set different alert tones for work Slack and radio show Slack. So throughout the
Smart.
day, I get different tones popping off in my fucking space, making my brain go haywire.
I really don't. Why is Slack better than other things? Why isn't it? Just feels like email. Why isn't it just email?
No, it's a good real-time communication tool.
Yeah.
When you loop in multiple people. Like I
I
barely.
guess like texting, and it's kind of like texting, business texting.
Yeah, it's like AIM,
Yeah.
except
Bring that back.
group chat's an AIM.
Yeah.
I rarely check my email now, and I probably should because there's still people. Anyone who I work with who sends me an email, I think, what the fuck are you doing? Just write me on Slack. I'm not going to
I
read the
see.
email. But people outside the organization have to reach you. And I tend to see their emails weeks later, and I have to say, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't see this.
I also don't check my email that often. And while I was on vacation, I got a call saying, hey, did you check your email? I was like, no. And it was our manager, and not the program director, but manager. And he was like, yeah, so it looks like you've clicked on 5 phishing attempts that were generated by the company. And he was like, technically, it's grounds to be fired. So what you need to do, he like had to write me up. And then
What were you clicking on? Why are you clicking on things? What were these emails?
It was over like, I said, I'm shocked because I normally feel like I'm pretty good at knowing, what's a phishing thing or not. But I was like 5 over how many months? Like it could have been like over a year, And then also, anyway, so he wrote me up, and I have to like sign it, and I have to take that phishing security thing again, which whatever. But the weirdest part is that I didn't click on things that actually put the company in jeopardy. Do you know what I mean? Like I was clicking on the test. So I'm clicking on the test got me, not I didn't actually do anything. And shouldn't it be like, okay, well, it's like I'm learning, hopefully let's make sure it's less next time,
I still don't understand what happened.
What do you mean?
Wait, what are you clicking on?
It'll be like, hey, there is a change in your timesheet. You need to like fix it. So, and it's sent by the manager. So it's like, oh, okay. If I'm not thinking too hard about it. And so I click it. And it'll be like, oh, you got, this is a test and you failed. Like, oh, shit. Okay.
Oh, those things. Got it.
Yeah. And then I report it and I go about my business. I don't then go through the process and like start giving my social security number or like detailed information about the company. I clicked on something that I thought was from my manager.
Well, how are they
About
supposed
my-
to contact you then? If you
Exactly.
needed
Am
to
I-
change your time card, what's the official email look like?
Well, it says, it'll say like Christopher Crawford or whatever, but it's supposed to say like Chris Crawford, you know, or it'll be signed Christopher instead of Chris. So it's like, okay, I just have to know the tricks now. It's not like, anyway.
Grounds for termination.
Yes. I was
So
like, are
strange
you fucking serious?
That they're setting traps.
I know.
We don't set traps. There's no traps going
That's what it
out.
feels like. It feels like a trap and not like,
I'm with
anyway,
you.
it just,
For
it
grounds
just
for termination
leads,
is dumb.
yeah, it leads, it just leads me even more to like, fuck this, dude. Fuck you guys. So hard. I don't like no respect. Do you know what I mean?
They had the attack, what, a few years ago?
Yes, which I totally understand. They needed to revamp their security.
Yeah, and IT comes under fire when something like that happens.
Yes.
And
And I
so now they're
definitely
going
understand that.
over the top, being a bit ridiculous with it. We're laying
Yeah.
traps and you're stepping in them, you
Yes.
fucking idiot. Grounds
Yeah.
for termination. Because they're
Grounds
just
for
looking...
termination. I got written up, and it says like final warning or something. I've never been written up before.
Just don't click emails anymore.
That's what I said. So I got an email later, and I had to text the person who sent it. I was like, "Is this really from you?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's from me." I'm like, okay, I don't want to click on anything now.
There are people at my company who've gotten texts, not emails, texts from the CEO.
Oh.
But it's not really the CEO.
Right? Yeah.
So I don't know how the scammers are getting people's personal numbers because they're not listed in our emails anymore. So it's strange. The scammers have people's cell phone numbers. They reach out and they say, hey,
Well, it's their personal cell phone number, right?
Yeah, and they say, hey, this is Jim, and I forget exactly what it is, but, you know, it ultimately leads to a thing where you click on a link. But I saw the text, and it seems pretty legit. The only reason I would never click on it is because I would think I've never spoken to the CEO in my
Yeah.
fucking
Why
life.
is the CEO
Why-
texting me? That
why
would be
are you-
weird.
Why are you texting me?
Yeah, that's what I would think first. Is like, what? How does the CEO even know my number or even know who I am?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the CEO could get your number if there's anyone who could, but it's not that the company's huge.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, not even 2,000 people, 1,700 people, but it's still a decent amount.
Yeah.
It's like the CEO reaching out to me. I'm not under any kind of illusion that I'm important enough.
Right. Like, oh, maybe it's a job opportunity. I'm getting in the CEO, the big man.
People like that. It's so strange when people high up in companies walk around the halls and the way some people treat them. Mm-hmm. They're like minor celebrities within the
Sure. Like
confines
"Oh,
of
that's
the
Mr.
building.
Oh, that's Mr. So and So. Oh my God.
Well, I always thought about it when I worked at places in radio, and like the big shot from a different city who like ran the whole company would be coming to your station.
And like, wouldn't they go around ahead of time and like let you know and like get shit off your desks and stuff?
Yeah, like clean up. Like your mom's coming to your house.
Yeah. What are we, kids?
Let's create an illusion that this place is cleaner and you better cut your hair and dress nice this day and everyone's going to fawn over this man. Fuck fawning over anyone. Mm-hmm. There's no person I'm going to give that attention to.
Except your girlfriend or wife.
Oh, look at this.
Fawn over them.
It's the CEO. Oh, good.
There's podcast hosts like that who don't do the fawning but act like they're big fucking stars, and it's like, dude,
Oh.
you got a show that gets 600,000 listeners. Look, that's great. My podcast doesn't get 600,000 listeners, but you do the quick math. In this country alone, 330 million people, 600,000 listeners.
Yeah.
It's not a very high percentage.
Small potatoes compared to something else.
If anything, you should just be fucking grateful. You're like, hey, this is
Yeah.
pretty cool. I do a show that it's got a good following. It's not huge. I'm not some household name, giant celebrity. And even if you were, fuck you if you're going to be an asshole to people. But on this level, it blows my mind the way some of these people act.
No, that's weird. I don't walk around WSB expecting anyone to know who I am.
No, I know that you stopped doing that one time we went to the 10 High.
Oh, this story is so stupid. This is not what happened. I just thought because of Nick that he knew us. That's all. Not because I think I'm some big shot. I thought it was because we are from the station and Nick is from the station, and so
going to Meddlesome.
I'm sorry, I don't think about a fucking movie constantly that has my name in it.
Going to Meddlesome, being stopped at the door by the doorman, looking at the IDs. He's like, Autumn. You're like, yep, that's me from WSB.
I did not say it like that.
And then it turns out he had no clue what the fuck that was, and he was talking about the one girl who makes a 2-minute appearance at the end of 500 Days of Summer.
It was really impactful for people because for a long time people would, I think when I was working at Mellow Mushroom, people would say, oh, have you seen 500 Days of Summer? I was like, no. And they were like, oh, okay.
Well, you have the same name as the person at the end who's barely in it.
Yeah, but it's a big deal at the end. Like the whole thing. 500 Days of Summer, and then it's autumn. So
I thought it was a little cheesy.
No, the whole thing was cheesy. It was cute.
I thought that was cheesy.
I loved when he looked in the reflection of that car window and he saw Han Solo. God, that just really I felt like that was just a really good illustration of what something, like how he was feeling. And then the fact like everyone's dancing with him. Ugh, I
like the movie. When I say cheesy, I just mean the last part where it's like, my name's Autumn. It's like,
I thought it was fun.
I would have liked it if it were Winter, Wynter.
Yeah, no E. Wintr.
My name's Winter. Huh?
Winter.
But yeah, I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
She was kind of... I mean, the guy she ended up with was a real loser.
Yeah, it was a time when movies were a certain way, especially like twee women were a certain way, like what's that movie with the stupid fucking guy from Scrubs and Natalie Portman where she's like blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah.
Garden State.
Yeah, like women were this strange sort of, I'm so kooky, like interesting, potato people, cool, I don't know. I like it in some ways, like Eternal Sunshine seemed to kind of do it with respect,
But that's where potato people came from.
Is that the potato one? I thought maybe in what's her name's. In Summer or whatever, if she had potato people too. She had something in her apartment that he liked.
Yeah, the potato people is from 500 Days. From Eternal Sunshine.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, see, that's what I mean. There's something about that seemed believable because I guess she was also so strange where like, the 500 Days of Summer person was kooky, but like still real basic, especially like the dude that she gets with at the end.
Well, that's the problem I have. He's this good-looking dude.
Yeah.
I feel like she should have just found someone who was like really ugly with crooked teeth.
Ugly.
She's like, I don't know. I was just sitting in a coffee shop reading a book and he came up and we connected. And I didn't want to connect with that guy because he's fucking god-awful.
You wanted her to like really lay into this guy?
Yeah, in terms of his looks, he is fucking disgusting. But, you can't help what happens.
Yeah. Because
the message that they were trying to make, it doesn't hit hard when it's like, oh yeah, but that guy's super good looking. He's taller than the dude who's in love with you. And granted, she was open. It was whatever. I like the way we're exploring, as we tend to do, a movie that came out a long fucking time ago. I think they did a good job because it was gray area. She was open quite often saying this is what I want, but then there was weird things that she would do. That's like, well, that's not really cool if that's what you want. You shouldn't be luring him back. But that's what happens normally.
Yeah, it is what happens. It's just, like I said, just the portrayal of her kooky, like quirky little self was like the formula was there, but then I didn't feel like she herself was kooky enough.
There was a
Like she needed a little bit more crazy than what she was. Like she was
But
too
if-
put together.
if you analyze it differently, women in movies presented media traditionally weren't the kooky, crazy.
Yeah.
Not even crazy. What's the word
Yeah.
I'm looking for?
Eccentric?
Not even necessarily eccentric. Something not as extreme. Just like quirky. Quirky's the good word. They weren't, it was a new thing. It's like, oh wow, this aligns with the hipster movement, and quirky girls are getting their day. And then all it does is make finance bros look at girls like that and think, I could win them over because the dudes they're hanging out with are fucking pussies. So I'm going to.
What's the deal with the finance, bro? There's all this stuff on TikTok.
I don't know.
Like, I want a guy in finance.
I thought that was some kind of weird. Started as a joke.
It was, yeah. But I think there are people's. Sorry, I'm having some Skittles. I shouldn't have done that on the microphone. There are some people that put on their like dating profiles, like I'm looking for 6'4", finance bro, with a boat.
I can't keep up with it. I have to assume at this point it's kind of a joke. It
is now, but I think at first, like, because especially when that was happening, there was, at least from my For You page, it was a lot of TikToks about like dating site profiles. And so it was women and men. I saw a lot of the ones where women were showing what their profiles, like what men look like from their profile. But maybe some men were also posting like women are being annoying, asking for like no one under 6'3".
I mean, that was a real thing.
Yeah.
There were women setting these standards, and if you didn't meet them, you better not even swipe on them, which then led to dudes lying, which then eventually led to people questioning me and my height. I was like, what the fuck? How did we get here? But I traced it back. So
What do you mean? Like they would say,
not
how
even
tall are
dating,
you?
not even in dating circumstances, but working with people remotely that you don't see often. When you do see them for the first time, everyone always wants to talk about height. Oh my God, I didn't imagine you to be this tall, or you're shorter than I imagined, or whatever the fuck it is. And then it gets to the point where it's, how tall are you? And I say, I'm 5'10". And are you really 5'10"? Why would the fuck would I lie to you in this circumstance? But
It's a weird measure of masculinity right now for some reason.
upon further investigation, yes, it all goes back to the dating profiles, where the people who would ask that would quite often be women who were online dating, and they would come across guys who said they were a certain height. They go on the date, and the guy wasn't that height, and now they just question everyone. And I said, sure, I get that people do it. Part of it's because you set this dumb fucking standard. Yeah. Why vocalize it? Also, why even limit yourself to such a dumb thing? This guy's only 5'11", and I really get along with him, and we really like each other, but I just can't fucking do it because he's not 6 feet.
Well, I think that's the thing. It's like, I don't think that they think of it as limiting themselves. I think they think of it as, I have the opportunity to sort of build a man however I want him to be. So I'm going to ask for explicitly what I
want. Go get the fucking sex doll then. Go to the factory.
No, it's stupid. Yeah.
And order your sex doll.
A male sex doll?
Yeah.
Ew.
They probably don't sell as well. But I have to assume they exist.
Women don't need like a whole body. You just need like a wiener. Or something that vibrates.
It's a real shame in a way, because the people I talk to are still online dating. They go out, there's a checklist. And if you don't hit every fucking check on that first date, then it's done. Yeah. The person has other people waiting, and they just, at some point, if they're nice enough, the text comes and says, I had a really good time, but I'm just not feeling it. Most of the time, I think they just don't respond. But, I one of my friends hasn't dated for years, and he's getting back into it. And I feel kind of bad. It's also partly him he shouldn't be letting his brain go as far as it does, but he hangs out with someone. He hangs out with someone, they have a nice time, and he thinks, oh man, that went really well. And, we'll maybe hang out again. And then you start thinking about, dating the person. It's not like crazy. It's not like his brain's going.
No, you just start making like little plans. Like it's like buying a lottery ticket.
Yeah, and then ultimately it's like, I had a good time, but it's just not. I just don't feel it. Which is also fair if you don't feel it, but it does seem like there's a checklist. If you don't hit everything in the checklist, then you're automatically disqualified. I also do think sometimes it takes multiple hangs until you know. We talked about this recently because I remember tying it into your current relationship where it took a little while to build.
Yeah. I mean, I instantly got along with him and was like, ooh, there's something here. But like to really get to know somebody and to really make that connection, it took, some more than just once. I guess it's because like you kind of know right away whether it's a definite no. And then there's the sort of gray area from there until you definitely know. So maybe maybe you start to think, well, I knew automatically in this situation, so I should know right away when it's a yes.
And also,
no, there might be some time that you might need to put into it and see, build,
and also
grow.
Going on one date and there being like fireworks and that's not a good guide either.
No, because that could just be like your traumas matching.
I mean, I
like I'm really into bad dudes for some reason, right? And then like, oh, he's a really bad dude. I really like him because he's a bad dude. He gives me the feelings that take me to the bad place.
People looking for that though. If it's not there, if it's not this extreme, I'm obsessed and fucking going crazy in the moment, then it's not worth it. I will tell you from firsthand experience. That is.
Oh, really?
I mean, the whole Jessica thing. Like I didn't know where it was set up.
Oh, you're saying your instant feelings there were maybe not so.
Yeah, it was like set up as a blind date, and we went out and it's like, wow, we really connected. It's like,
why are you so connected?
That shit blinds you is what it does. You can't look at things realistically. I if I ever was dating again, I would not. That would be a warning sign. It's like,
yeah, like oof.
I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
Yeah. What am I actually responding to?
Yeah, if anything, we should take a bit of time and, try to view this rationally and realistically and logically. And sure, there's emotion that goes into it, and I want that to be there too. But it's like the full package. It's not just, it's a whirlwind and this is it. Oh, no, it's not. We're fucking psychotic together.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, maybe that's for so many things, like slow down, think.
Well, it's sold that way. It's sold that way in movies. It's the way it's always presented.
Romance.
And it's nice to watch and it's nice to get wrapped up in. And it's nice when it happens and you're in the middle of that. But it's also, see, that was the different Slack.
Oh, I heard it was different.
I got
that too.
That was the radio show Slack, which I didn't mute.
Uh-huh.
So I
got it too, but mine is on the Brett.
So anyway, that made me lose my train of thought, but I would totally, I would run from that these days. I think it's not helpful to the way, and this has been discussed a million times, but it still surprises me. This is the angle I'll take. It still surprises me that people watch movies or TV shows and think that is reality, and if they're not experiencing that, then something must be wrong in their relationship, because you can have the goddamn whirlwind, but the truth is real life settles in and you need to be on the same page and able to work together in many fucking different ways. And the whirlwind permanently is unrealistic. And I feel as though a lot of people, when that fades over time, which is normal, like, I don't know, something's wrong.
Right.
Something's not going on. That should be happening. There's something missing here, and it's weird to me. It's always been weird to me. I just think in the past I wouldn't even know how to address it. They would just be like, well, this is over because this person. I probably
can address it when the other person started to feel that way, or when you started to feel that way.
I probably internalized these thoughts that I'm expressing here and just projected them on the person and thought they're feeling that this is no good anymore because that part is settled down, so I may as well destroy this relationship. It's like it probably wasn't even rooted in any kind of reality with most of the people.
Yeah.
I just
I just killed a mosquito.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
Hopefully the blood is splattered everywhere.
There's no blood. I think it I don't know. Sorry, go ahead. I was just excited because
That's all. That's all. That's the end of my thoughts.
yeah, it's. I guess okay. So I was trying to think. It's not the media's job to show us and help us understand the realities of love. It's kind of what we see in our parents, right? Like it's a mirroring, and if that's not available at all, then that could be trouble, and you have to work through that. But then you also have to, I guess you have to. Even your parents aren't like, yeah, me and your dad, we don't really love each other the way we did before. It's a different type of love. It's like you're not really talking to your kids like that. But if we did, then they would have a better idea of what's to come when you do fall in love.
That feels wrong, though, too. It's a different type of love. It's like, how about it's just the same love, and love just evolves and changes and has a wider definition than you think it does? How about that?
Okay, so maybe it's like I've described it as like a soup. At first it's this, and it's exciting, and you're putting all the ingredients together, and then it changes into something more depthful, as it, cooks away.
Because I think
and then your kid's like, what?
I think even setting that standard.
Love is like soup.
Yeah, but I think setting that standard, not your soup standard, but the standard is like, it's a different type of love. It's like that to me. That sounds like, well, the love we had at first is gone, and I really like that love, but I'm settling for this new type of love because it's like, just be realistic about what all this shit is.
But then, how do you say? Like, what do you say? What do you do? How do you express it to them?
I mean, as a kid, obviously, you can't get into, there's a biological force that drives us, and there's going to be a lot of endorphins released at first. So you're really going to be wrapped up in this person, and it's going to feel good, and it's going to be nice, and that's going to fade, and that's okay because that's normal. And if you spend any amount of extended time with the person, it's not always going to be perfect or wonderful. And it's really about, at that point, figuring out how you can navigate real life and how you compromise and how you communicate. And those are the things that are important. Then the kids are going to say, oh,
yeah. That's what I mean.
But I mean, I don't think you need to talk to kids
it's
that
through
level.
Mirroring. It's not like an explicit learning. It's what is it called? There's something about, it's like language. It's not acquisition. It might be acquisition. It's something where like no one goes to a baby and starts teaching them how to speak. Like they just start doing it, and they start learning it, and then you start speaking, and yeah, I forget what that's called, but it's like that with, I think, relationships, right? And how they work and how you operate in them. You see how your parents do it and how they behave. And then without meaning to, that's like just what you kind of expect, So
and at some point you have a
if
conversation.
If your dad is kind of not helpful, and your mom does all the stuff, and it's like you just kind of roll into that as you get older with the partner that you're with.
It sounds like you're speaking from experience.
I don't mean to be, but I really was just giving an example of how like some typical dudes behave, even if they don't mean to. It's just like, well, it's just you don't even think about it. It's just
some dudes want
it works.
A mom.
That's different. Yeah, some men want mommy wife that they're like afraid of and they have to hide from,
or just to do things for them.
That
when
too.
I was dating,
but they usually kind of are annoyed by their wives that do that. Their mommy wives, because they're gonna like get in trouble with the mom wife. But it's like, but she makes your lunches, she does your laundry, she takes care of your kids. Fuck that dude.
I still have a real point of shame that lives within me when I think about this. When I was dating Brittany and I was wanting to move to New York, I was lying to company saying I already lived in New York because it's tough.
Yeah,
if you
then
say
they don't want to hire you.
It's like, I don't live in New York. Like, well, there's plenty of people in this city that I can hire that I don't have to deal with moving up here and getting settled. And
yeah,
so I would just lie and say I'm already living in New York. And then if I got an interview, I would have to fly up almost immediately.
Yeah.
And so something was serious popped up, and I said, "Oh, I'm out of town today, but I in 2 days I'll be back." And like, great, in 2 days. So I had to book a flight and fly up. In the morning of the flight, like I was feeling stressed about everything because also it's like I'm in essence, ditching my relationship. It's like I'm going to move to New York, and the person's there, and they know what's going on, and I'm feeling guilty about that, even though I was honest.
Yeah.
I was always upfront about wanting to move. It still doesn't feel good. So that's adding to the
Right.
stress
This
of...
is I'm actively participating in the end of this relationship.
Yeah. So like the morning of, I have to go do this thing that's ultimately going to end our relationship. And also just getting up there quickly and having an interview. I couldn't figure out what to fucking wear. I couldn't figure out the clothes. And I like became such a fucking child.
Yeah.
And it got to the point with Brittany, I'm like, you pick it out for me. I was like, what the fuck? How the fuck did I get there? How did that happen?
You're
Like I didn't
help me,
say
mommy.
it. Yeah, I didn't say it like that, but that's just me vocalizing what was happening. Like
Right.
putting it to words the way I
And then
was
how you
acting.
felt about what you were asking.
You do it.
Yeah, it's totally disgusting. And
Did you feel like in any way it was like her fault almost? Like, was it a little bit easier for you to put stuff on her to say, like, this is your fault? If I wasn't seeing you, then I wouldn't be feeling this way.
I mean, subconsciously, who knows? It probably
Yeah.
popped up in some form. Logically, I know that would be a shitty thing to put on a person, but yes, we all act in certain ways, and it's the most basic way to explain your feelings. Well, if you weren't here, I wouldn't be feeling guilty.
Right. It's your
Even
fault.
though-
I'm feeling anything.
But I feel like
I just want to be a rock. I want to be an island where nobody is around. I feel no pain. I feel no anything.
I feel like I've apologized for that like 10 times over the years.
To her?
Yeah.
Yeah. For just that one instance?
I mean, that was the one that really sticks out. Like, I just look at myself like, what disgusting behavior.
Yeah.
I'm really ashamed that I did that. But I feel like maybe not to that extent. And obviously, there were a lot of factors going into why I acted like that. But it does seem like there are some dudes who want people to just make decisions. They want to find a person who can make the decisions for them.
Yeah. They haven't had to make the decisions. Mommy did it. And they saw their mom did it for their dads. So it's like, this is how men behave in this scenario. And I was never taught, maybe, you know?
What the hell's going on with Eric then with the clothes? He like that's. I don't feel like that's him throwing a fit and saying find my clothes,
No,
but
no.
he's like, I don't know. Jane just picks out all my clothes. I have no interest in doing it. And it clearly ain't because of a mom who did everything for him.
No. I think that might just be purely she'll do it, so he'll take it, you know? And he doesn't care. So.
I would never let anyone pick out my clothes.
Well, I don't think she picks out his clothes like to wear in the morning.
No. I mean, she
his
buys them. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Okay.
I'm
You
so
wouldn't let
picky.
anyone buy your clothes.
I'm so picky.
Yeah.
People who try to buy me clothes as a gift, like it's a risk. Good
Yeah.
luck.
I'm not
You
going to like this.
Yeah.
I'm inclined before I even see it to not like it.
If it's got any fucking logo on it. I'm wearing a shirt now that it's actually a very soft shirt. I really like it. It's a short sleeve Henley with a few buttons
Oh,
at the
the
top.
Henley.
It's a t-shirt. The normal brand. And I've bought things from them before and I like the quality. And I bought this shirt and I didn't realize that on the back, on the neck, there's an embroidered logo. It's like
Oh.
I think it's a bear or something, the normal brand's logo. It's the
Okay.
same color as the shirt.
Oh, so you can't really, it's not standing out too much.
No, but you can see it. And honestly, when the shirt came, I was like, oh, I fucking hate this thing. God damn it. Why would you do something like this? And I still feel that way. Why would you put your fucking logo here like this? It's disgusting. I don't want anyone to know what the brand of my clothing is. And putting it on today, the thought is, and again, it's a very nice t-shirt. It's well made. It's soft.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do wear it, I think, am I going out today? Am I doing anything? No? Okay. Then I can
Oh,
wear
then
this
I'll wear
shirt. But if I'm going out,
It used to be like that for every shirt. Every fucking shirt said Old Navy on it.
it was pretty ridiculous that people
Yeah.
would.
Or like
They would-
BB.
they-
Remember that BB store? Everything
Yes.
said BB.
They would choose to promote the brand, pay a lot of money for a dumb Abercrombie and Fitch
Yes.
t-shirt. That's why I started taking white t-shirts and writing Abercrombie and Fitch. on
Oh,
it with
that's fun.
Sharpie. Then I
That
tried
seems
to,
very Abercrombie of you,
then I tried
doesn't
to-
it?
Then I
Seems
tried
like they
to-
would want that. They'd be like, cool.
That was
Let's
my
make
teenage,
shirts like that.
They probably did at some point. That was my
Yeah.
teenage rebellion. I mean, that's what happens. That's the same thing that's happening with you going back to the online dating and the women saying they want finance bros. It's a joke now. We're making fun of those people, and somebody did it for the first time, and that was fine, and that was funny. But then everyone jumps on board,
Yeah.
and it becomes lame.
Well, the song is fun, and it's like a creative thing, which I enjoy. I want a guy in finance.
Why do some
6'12",
people?
whatever. I know that's
some
7.
people jump on these trends? I don't know why are they.
Yeah, I don't really understand the. I mean, I guess if you want to participate, you want to participate, right? But I don't. I don't know what it is. I don't know what my sort of metric is for what's acceptable or not. But I don't just do every trend. I don't
I
care
only
about
do
it.
12% of them.
I don't know. It's just whatever strikes me. It's like, oh, that looks fun. But I guess for some people, like, it all looks fun.
Or it's
Or they're just trying to get hits. You know, that's obvious. Yeah. I mean, that's a definite.
I can't speak to the psychology behind it. On some level, I just feel like it's everyone wanted to be included.
Oh, sure. There's
Everybody
that.
wants to feel included. Affection.
We don't have religion anymore, so we just have
love.
viral trends.
Such a desire to not feel alone.
Yeah. I mean, well, listen, that makes sense. If we are sort of creating distance from each other because of social media or because texting, technology, whatever, then it makes sense that we would want to have some way to connect.
And why don't people do what they actually need to do to not be alone? Tying into our bigger conversation here. Why don't you approach things realistically?
Well, because that takes work.
Stop setting all these stupid standards that are unrealistic that are going to alienate you.
Well, maybe they don't realize that they're doing it so that they can sort of keep people away. They
Why?
don't
But
really.
they're all into psychology these days. I watch my
Yeah, but they're not.
TikTok
They don't know what they're talking about.
psychologist, and I learned words like
That's like all the people that are into
gaslighting.
yeah, that's like the people that are into polyamory and they speak a lot of psychological or like therapy speak, but they don't really know what they're talking about and they actually don't ever really communicate. You know, like they're never really actively listening to what the other person is saying or what the other person needs or how their behavior affects somebody else. They're just like, well, you know, I just feel that blah 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 and okay. And then one person who's stuck because she's actually, I made it the woman, because they're actually in love and they don't want the person to be in a polyamorous relationship. You know, they're just like, okay, well, I love him and I understand what he's saying, and so I wouldn't want to keep him from love or pleasure.
I saw the TikTok therapist, and
Yeah.
she brought up trauma
Skittles.
and PTSD and toxic and
Neurodivergent.
red flag. And now
I'm autistic.
now I'm an expert on all of this stuff because I watched
Now
the
I'm
TikTok.
autistic.
Any therapist that would whore themselves out on TikTok for likes is not a therapist I would trust. I have a hard enough time with that show that was on. It's on Showtime.
What? That show's amazing. Couples therapy.
Yeah, but I who makes the choice as a therapist? I'm going to make myself a star with my.
But she
TV
wasn't
show.
like, no, it was a documentary about her.
But even that.
She's amazing.
Who? Look, if somebody approached me, I guess, like, hey, with this idea for a documentary, and we think you'd be a good fit, I'd think about it. I don't know how involved she was, so I can't put this on her. But any person who put in the work to get the documentary made, I have this idea. Let's do a documentary about me. I would not fucking trust that person.
Oh, she didn't start it. They approached her.
No, that's what I was saying with her. I didn't know the details. I still would struggle with the idea of, you know, I don't like if you. I know she gets the approval of the people who are coming in, and everyone's on board with it. But I do feel as though I would have trouble with it. I'm like, I don't know. Look, my job is being a psychologist and I really want to help these people, and I feel as though being on TV takes away from it, then it becomes about me and my star power, and I become the center of attention, and I don't know
See,
if
I
I could
disagree
get on
because
board.
she's not the center of attention.
At the end of the day, she is. She's the common denominator with all the different couples.
It's true, but I watch it because she's incredible. And, some of the psychology of the patients are also compelling. But I don't see it as, she's getting, she doesn't even reveal, like, if she's married. Like, she doesn't want anybody to know stuff like that because she keeps some anonymity from her patients.
Yes, I mean, that's a standard practice, which really creeps me out. I found out because, I don't know how much I should reveal and how much people want me to talk about their stuff, but I found out that my therapist, who, I haven't seen her in a while because we switched to the thing where if I felt like I needed to talk to her, I would just check in. Yeah. And it's really been a year since I've spoken to her. I found out she had a baby.
Whoa.
And
how'd you find that out?
That's the thing. I know.
Okay, sorry.
I would have to explain.
That's okay. You don't have to explain.
Other people who are connected and going to therapy. I mean, it probably wouldn't be a big deal, but I'm just trying to.
Absolutely.
You never know how people feel.
If you have the feeling, then don't do it.
You never know how people feel about spilling the beans about their lives.
Okay, so she found out she had a baby.
Yeah, but I thought, in my mind, it's perpetually single, never going to be in a relationship. I don't.
Because that's what you need. You need to project some stuff onto that person.
I always found that to be the weird part of it. It's like, I want you to be a person to me and not just a professional. So there's a balance there.
Well, that they're not just the professional because you've taken it upon yourself to ascribe some things about her that really are a reflection of yourself.
But it's just very strange to me. And I know I'm complaining about the one that goes on TV. Yes, I'm difficult to please. There's a balance that needs to be struck. It's like, and you're talking about, how we don't know anything about her personal life. But in general, I'm not talking about the woman who does the Showtime show that now MTV shows because MTV is pathetic and has nothing else to do. Did you notice that? I know you don't have TV.
Yeah, I don't know that MTV shows that.
MTV started showing the couples therapy show.
Oh, because it's all part of the same thing now.
Yeah, it's all the same company. But sure, I guess fine. If you want to get... Who watches MTV? Teens aren't watching it. Just people our age watching it.
Not even, because I don't know anybody my age that has cable.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't think many people are watching it, but if anyone is watching it, there are people who watched it when they were younger.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
so like re-explore it or something?
Well, it's the same thing about like 99X being back in Atlanta. You're not pulling in a new, younger audience. You're pulling in the original audience who listened in the 90s.
I miss VH1.
I feel like MTV operates the same way.
Don't you miss VH1? VH1 was different.
So anyway, with the therapist. Yeah, I just didn't know, and it shocked me. And I in my mind, it's like, you're kind of person who doesn't have the time or patience to be in a relationship.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you put that on her because it helped you.
It's weird. You have a kid now. Who? With who? How did this happen?
Yeah.
When? Why? Huh?
Interesting. So do you think it's like it's now that is now a reflection on you, right? It's like, maybe it's like the reason why it freaks you out because it's movement forward when you sort of decided for her that she doesn't do that. Like she stays put.
Well, we were around the same age.
Right. And so now it's like, there are some expectations of me in my life. And maybe that freaks you out.
Possibly. You like the psychoanalyzing, saying I have
we're just
oppositional
talking.
defiant disorder. Which
That was just a joke. That was just being funny. But maybe a little bit not a joke. Because you kind of do like that.
That's a sign to you when you're a child.
Well.
I was never that. I was a very good child. I wasn't hostile or disobedient. I don't know when it came into play. I was really scared about getting into trouble when I was.
Well, now. So that's what I'm saying. So it doesn't have to be assigned to you as a child. It can
No,
be
it
now.
does. It does. That's the way it works. It's a childhood mental health condition.
Okay.
That's what it is. For whatever reason. Man, I hated getting in trouble as a kid. There was one time in second grade, like if you got 3 strikes throughout the week, on Fridays there was a movie you would watch or something, and some pizza or something would come in. Probably not pizza, but and if you got the strikes, you had to sit. So it was like 2 classrooms would combine forces. So the classroom next to us, the good kids would go to that classroom and get to have fun and play and watch movies, and the bad kids would have to sit in the other classroom. And I don't even know what the fuck they did. There was one time I got 3 strikes, and I immediately was like, I'm sick, and I called my mom and went home because I didn't want to sit in the bad kids' room, and I didn't know what it meant for me, and I was really scared to call. Like my parents would ditch me.
Yeah.
We don't love you anymore because you got 3 strikes. What the fuck is up with you, you little shit? That's no son of mine. You're going to go live with the horses across the way now.
If you're going to act like an animal who doesn't do their work.
There used to be horses that you could see. Man, suburban Georgia, suburban Atlanta, when it was growing, it really was weird. Like where I grew up on Way Green Road, when we first moved there, was cow pastures and then just like a development with suburban homes. And
Yeah.
across the street from our house was a playground, some tennis courts, and behind the tennis courts was a farm, and there was these horses just standing there. They would eat and poop. I remember we used to go watch, and they'd wag their tails, and I was surprised they had butts for some reason, like butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, big old butt cheeks.
I guess I thought they'd be like more like dogs or something. I remember thinking for the first time, what the fuck? A horse has butt cheeks.
You're right, though, about before there was like a huge growth, because when I lived in Loganville, but I mostly lived in like Snellville. It was on the cusp of Snellville and Loganville. And it was some neighborhoods, but we were right next to just fucking fields, farm, and then as we stayed there up until high school, those farms turned into neighborhoods, and everything was bulldozed and built into just neighborhoods.
Now
And
you
that's
got
why,
that.
like, every neighborhood had brand new little baby trees in them because they were farmland before, so there were no trees.
Yeah. Now you have beautiful urban sprawl.
Oh yes, it's lovely.
Look
and they
at
have
the
like
study.
a bajillion schools in Gwinnett County. You can't throw a rock without hitting another school. There's billions.
A lot of kids who
Yeah.
need that education. Need that Cobb County education. Not that
Gwinnett.
Not that that's where you lived.
Yeah. Were you in Cobb?
I was in Cobb, but I wasn't in the
Cobb's
cool part of Cobb.
huge, right?
East Cobb was like the rich people. South Cobb was the derelicts. North Cobb
You mean
was.
the black people?
You think that's funny, huh?
Well, if you think about people that live in East Cobb and what they probably assumed about whatever Cobb you said, South Cobb.
I mean, if you're speaking as the way they spoke, then yes,
That's what I'm
accurate.
saying. Yeah.
But the way you present it makes it seem like your own thought and the thoughts of the show, which it's not.
Okay.
But yes, I mean, yes, people in East Cobb were snooty. Like the North Cobb, too, where I grew up, they thought, ugh, fucking poor. Not that it was poor. It was strictly middle class. But I guess with all those new developments, they weren't like these dumb gated communities or the ones with the fancy brick entrances.
I like the entrances to neighborhoods that have like fountains and stuff.
It's too much.
Get over it. And their houses are all the same. You walk in and you look up and there's that weird chandelier thing hanging down. And you can see like an upstairs awning. And then you go in. It's all echoey in there. To the right is a living room. To the left is like to the right is like a dining room. To the left is also another dining room. I guess it's like that southern sitting room. Then you go forward. There's a kitchen over to the right. And then there's a huge living room. Then you turn left. You go up the stairs. You see the awning going into the front. You see that dusty chandelier. And then you got all the bedrooms and bathrooms up there. It's exactly the same. Every fucking house is exactly the same.
And they all had generic names for the developments.
Like the Promenade or something, maybe.
I mean, I grew up in Cambria Hills. Oh, what the fuck?
Cambria Hills. What's a Cambria?
I don't know. Is it a town in England? What is Cambria?
A poetic name for Wales.
There are multiple matches for Cambria, including a quartz surface brand, a hotel chain, a typeface. That's not what I'm looking for. What?
Oh, there's the Cambrian Age.
It's
65 million years of the Paleozoic era.
just arbitrary shit.
Yeah.
And there really weren't even hills. It was a relatively flat thing. And it's like Caesarland. It's like, huh?
Something Oak.
The one next, there's always like, there was Parkwood Commons, Chestnut Hills, Wade Green Station. I liked.
Well, at least that's from the name of the
street.
road.
Yeah. That one was fine. And I think it had a little train on their sign. A locomotive.
The train used to run through here.
Wade Green Station. What are the other ones? There's someone's like Green something Green. Just who names them? And the fact that it becomes meaningful in any kind of way when you talk to people who live in the area. Like, oh, you're in Cambria Hills? I'm in Chestnut Hill.
I'm in River Oak Valley.
It's Arden Lake is where I live.
Harbor Hills.
Arden Lake is where my aunt lived. And I do think there was like a crappy, gross lake in the neighborhood.
So it counts.
But I don't even know if it was man-made. I think it was like probably low land and with sludge and a pond.
Yeah.
And they're like, build around this and call it a lake.
Mount
Arden.
City Lake. That's what we should like move them all together and mix things that don't match. Like Mountain Valley Creek Canyon.
Wade Green Station, I think, was the cheapest. Like that was where.
It sounds like it, honestly.
I think that was the first one.
It's no Cambria Hills.
That was the first one that was built. So it was the oldest one, and the people who lived there were just trashier compared to the rest
the people
of
that
us.
lived on any creek.
Looking, there were always creeks that divided the neighborhoods, though. I would go down. Go
If
down
you lived
to the
on the
creek.
wrong side of that.
I would-
Stevens Creek Road.
I'm so desperate for my status. I need to show that I'm better than other people.
Cambria.
And at that
The
point,
Cambria Estates. Ooh, Estates is a good one.
just in general, I am tired of the fucking rat race of everyone trying to prove themselves. Do
you think that's a New York thing?
I don't know if it's a New York thing. I think in general everyone's doing it. So for work, next month I get to travel to Finland.
Wow.
I'm going to go to Helsinki.
That's neat.
It is neat. And I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there's so many people that like to talk about their travels, and they would take something like that and tell everyone at any given opportunity that I don't know how to act, because I feel as though bringing it up in any capacity falls into the trap of the other people. It's like, I'm going to Finland next month.
Yeah, but that's none of your business what they think. And you're not presenting it that way, so what can you do?
But I also don't want to be a person who does present those things.
But you aren't presenting those things. You're talking about those things. You're not doing it the way that you're imagining a jerk would.
It's the same thing with the logos on clothes. Now, yes, I do think it's stupid. I think
Sure.
it's asinine. I haven't used the word on the show in a while, so I wanted to fit it in.
Oh,
to do free advertising, but not even free. You pay the company to advertise
Yeah.
for them. But the other side of it is the status that does come along with it. People like to show off the kind of clothes that they're wearing
Yes.
for whatever fucking reason.
Lululemon.
Which apparently I hear they have wonderful men's pants, but I would never buy them. Some guy told me
because they have the logo.
even outside the logo. Then at that point, if word gets out you're wearing Lululemon pants, it's like, my God, you paid $160 for that shit.
I don't get it. Why are they so special? They can't be.
But I live in the fancy neighborhood. I drive the fancy car.
Yeah. Where do you live?
It's empty though. It's all empty, right?
No,
right?
but we have to figure out where someone lives. Where does that man live that wears Lululemon pants?
Sadly, he lives in my neighborhood. Actually, he lives in the neighborhood next to mine. He's in Carroll Gardens.
Oh, Carroll Gardens doesn't sound very fancy.
No, that's
Carroll, you know.
What's wrong with that? Carroll Street in Cabbagetown. That was a nice street.
True, but think about the way that street originally was. It wasn't like a fancy part of town. It's Carroll.
That's the main drag in Cabbagetown. That's where
I
everyone
know.
wants
I'm
to go.
saying it is. It's fancy now, so maybe it has that sort of rep now. But before, it was a poor ass part of town.
Well, this whole neighborhood, the area I live in is 3 neighborhoods: it's Borum Hill, Cobble Hill, and Carroll Gardens. And
Hill Garden.
it's, I mean, that's a little different. I don't know.
Garden,
These
Garden
are
Hill.
older names. I feel like there's more meaning. They weren't just arbitrarily chosen.
Oh, for sure. I was just mostly just trying to think of where a guy that wore the Lululemon pants would live, like what his neighborhood would be called.
But there's a sense of embarrassment that strikes me because in New York, everyone always asks, "Where do you live? What neighborhood do you live in?" And because it's a fancier part, I was like, I don't want people to know that I live here.
Oh,
I want to be the Bushwick guy still. I live in Bushwick. Ugh.
just say wherever.
There's no trees in Bushwick. Yeah, just the way I like it. I hate trees.
Wait, there's no trees in Bushwick?
Yeah, it's a weird neighborhood. Like, there's parks, a few parks, small
Yeah.
parks, but planted along the streets, there's no trees.
Oh, why?
I don't know. It's
Isn't that
just
good for walking? You need cover.
Yeah, it makes it
Shade.
nice. Makes it like a beautiful neighborhood. That's a big thing when
Yeah.
you have trees lining the streets. When you're parking your car under the trees, it stinks because a big storm comes and it knocks branches down and it smashes
Oh,
things,
yeah.
or birds roost and shit all over your car and stuff like that. But as far as aesthetic goes,
But not just aesthetic, just for making streets or wherever walkable. A big part of that is tree cover. So I'm surprised that a place like New York wouldn't have good tree cover.
that neighborhood does not.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have it. That's where I belong. And anything that anybody else wants to use to try to get the affection of other people, not for me.
Obstinate defiant disorder.
It's not. I'm not doing it just for the sake of it. I'm doing it because
I know
I have a
you're not.
standard. There's a standard in my brain that's like, if
Uh-huh.
the only attention and love I want is real, authentic. And then when you do give it to me, I'll question why you're giving it to me because I'm not deserving of it. But that's a whole other thing.
Man, you really need to go see that therapist.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Why? Why? Because I present
Because of
these things.
everything you just said. Sad.
I can navigate. It's not sad. There's nothing
It is
sad
sad.
about it.
It sounds like a lot of work, and it sounds like a
It's
bummer.
not a lot of work.
It is mentally.
I'm aware of these things, and I'm just presenting them matter of factly. They're not dominating my life.
No
just
one
because
said that.
just because I said
Well, they are, because like you won't wear a shirt that has a thing on it. You won't tell people where you're going because you're afraid they're going to think that you're hoity-toity.
So when I'm not going
You
to
don't wanna
therapy,
tell people.
so I can get to a point where I then brag to people about.
No, no
things.
one's saying that you should brag, but the fact that you won't say it just because you assume that someone will think something is a lot.
It's not
of
that
work.
deep.
You just said those are all the things you just said.
I know that I said it. Those are my real thoughts, but it's not like I'm
Okay.
sitting here obsessing about it constantly. It just
No one
when
said. Oh man.
when
Okay,
I'm
so you sound
explaining
like,
it. No,
you sound like
I
those
don't.
people who have a drinking problem. And it's like, well, I'm not drinking in the morning, and I'm
That's not what I
doing
sound like. That's not what I sound like.
this." Okay.
You just want to fit a diagnosis in.
I'm
somehow.
not. I'm saying you. I'm telling you what I think. That's what I think. I could be wrong.
You just want to fit it in. You are
No.
right. When I tell you that you're wrong, you're like, no.
Well, I disagree.
I'm right. I know.
Yeah, I think I do
I'm
know.
gonna tell you. I'm just telling you what I think, but I may be wrong. But just kidding, I'm not wrong because. when you
Well,
tell me
I don't
that
think I'm wrong, but if you think I'm wrong, that's okay.
I think that verbalizing the things that I feel and just presenting them on the show doesn't necessarily automatically mean that it's constantly on my brain and dominating my life. I think it's just saying.
I don't
"Hey,
think so
yeah."
either. But you saying that you are altering so much of your behavior because of all those things that you.
I'm not
just
altering
verbalized.
it.
You are altering it.
No. I'm acting in the way that is fitting of who I am as a person. So I'm not really altering things that I wanted. I don't have a desire to wear a fucking Louis Vuitton
No, I know
shirt.
that. I know
and
that.
I'm holding back. It's just represented, like it fits who I am.
Yes. I'm not saying that you want to wear a Lululemon pants.
And I
I'm
explained the
saying, though,
reasons.
that you love this shirt you're wearing, but you're like, oh, I can't be seen out in it or else this. Or I can't tell people I'm going to Finland or else they'll think this.
I mean,
Like,
that
that's a
one,
lot
sure,
of
that one is a little different because
Yeah.
I am excited to go. And I think that there are natural places where it can pop up in conversation or you tell people close to you. But, there are a lot of people who will just try to find a way to bring it in no matter what because they
Right,
want
but
other
that's
people
not
to know.
you. So who cares?
I just won't bring it up at all. I also do. I
Right.
also
So exactly. So you change behavior.
I also like people not knowing anything about me. It is kind of nice. It's like I don't fucking want everyone to know everything that's
Well,
going on
that's
in my
fine.
life.
No, that's fine. I just think you're in some mental gymnastics to.
No,
Okay.
you can think what you want. 'Cause
Yeah.
It makes things a little more exciting for you.
It doesn't. I'm just talking. I'm not excited.
You should put that energy into your Rubik's cube.
I should. I really want to get this done, especially because we had 2 Rubik's Cubes. One was our neighbor's, and one is one that I bought. And I took the neighbor's one apart so that I could put it back together all in one piece because somebody had messed it up. Like I think her daughter had like taken the pieces apart and like messed it up. And so it wasn't right anymore. So like it was unsolvable. So I put it back together. And then we had the new Rubik's Cube that was already solved, right? So we had 2 Rubik's Cubes that were solved. Pete said that I could mess up the one that was the neighbor's because he wanted to keep his Rubik's Cube solved. And then I saw Ellie today sitting on the couch with his Rubik's Cube and she was mixing it up. And I was like, oh, Ellie, you can't do that. That's the
Well,
wrong one.
so that's why you're trying to fix it.
So now I'm like, I got to really figure out this Rubik's Cube so I can solve this one for him.
Yeah. Instead of saying, it's just something that happens.
Oh, there's plenty of that in our lives. And if he sees that, then I'll explain it that way. But if I can avoid something right now, I think I'll just try and help him out, help a brother out.
Just take the stickers off then and put them back on.
Oh, it's not a sticker anymore. It's not a sticker stitch.
That ain't a real Rubik's Cube.
No, it's real now. That's not how they make them anymore. They make them into like these chunky pieces that are connected by this thing in the circle, in like the middle that's a circle. It was really hard to put back together at the very end. It was easy at first, but then like the last 2 pieces were really difficult to put in.
Can't you
Anyway.
find some video? There's just a method to it.
There is, and that's what okay, listen, that thought process that you're having was exactly mine. Like, of course, there's a video. I'll follow the video. I'm not an idiot. I'm an adult woman. I'm smart. I can do things. I'm capable. And then I'm struggling. Like, fuck. And like, we were rewinding the video like, wait, what is he? Wait, where did it go? Oh, wait, he did that.
I've never looked into the method behind it, so I don't know.
You should try. You should get one just for funsies and see.
I had one when I was a kid. I just never found it.
That's what I'm saying. Do it now. It's kind of fun.
I was never into puzzles much.
Oh, I really like puzzles.
I was good at solving things because I'm very smart, but
Good job.
but I also feel like it's a nuisance. It's like, don't fucking put this puzzle in front of me. I don't take joy in it. It's not fun.
Oh, see, I feel like it's so much fun. Like, even though I'm struggling with it, with the Rubik's Cube, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think they represent an opportunity to prove that I'm not as smart as I like to think. So there's always
Oh,
this,
so it challenges that for
this
you.
anxiety attached to it. It's like, man, if I can't solve this, and so
Yes.
fuck you, get this out of my face.
See, that's what I'm saying. It is like that. And then when it's really hard, you're like, fuck, what's wrong with me?
I mean, I got really annoyed the other day. That old lighter that I bought that I took apart.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And there's a few pieces. It's not like it's some majorly complex piece of machinery, but there are 8 pieces when you take the lighter apart. Mm-hmm. And when I was putting it back together, I was having a little bit of trouble. I was really getting annoyed. It's like, God fucking damn it! Why won't this screw go back in? And then I became a little careless at that point as the frustration grew, because I was working in a very specific spot because the pieces are small, and when the frustration grew, I didn't care about working in that spot and I moved it to a different spot, and then I accidentally knocked these small pieces onto the ground, and Christina helped me crawl around until we found them. And I found everything, and now the lighter's been put back together and it's sparking, and I just need to get a new wick for it, but the lighter is from the 60s.
I love those old lighters.
The only lighter wicks, it's not the only ones, but I bought the wrong ones. When I was going to buy them, I bought Zippo wicks thinking, oh, this is fine, but They're too
Yeah, I know.
wide. And they don't work the same. And then so I went back on Amazon to buy other ones. But because of Prime Day, they don't promise any kind of quick shipping. That's the
Man,
shitty.
Prime Day is such bullshit, dude.
It is. It's Prime 2 days, and our 1 day shipping's gone now because there's just too much ordering going on. It's like, well, then fuck Prime Day.
It's not even real. They they increase the prices 2 weeks before Prime Day so that on Prime Day they can say it's a 53% discount.
It is, yes, a scam. And I just wanted the proper wick so I could
Fuck Amazon.
finish putting my lighter back together after taking out the asbestos-filled wick that came with it originally, since it's so old. I had to be careful, and I was ready to get it pieced back together. And now I have to wait until tomorrow because Prime Day doesn't. It's a fucking wick. You can send it. It can be here in a day.
Well, we can't promise that anymore because Prime Day. Too many orders on Prime Day. 4-day shipping only for Prime Day orders.
But anyway, maybe I'll I'll refurbish lighters for everyone. That'll be my new gift for everyone in my life
That'd be cool.
this Christmas. Like, here's an old lighter I refurbished.
That would be so cool.
I'm enjoying
People
it.
would love that.
I enjoyed once that one's actually up and running and flaming.
Yeah.
I think I'll feel really good about it.
I gotta cook. I gotta get some lunch for my kids.
Hi, Pete. Are you hungry?
Okay, bye.
Say yes.
Oh, has a really loose tooth, and he's waiting for it to fall out on his own, so he's not speaking a whole lot.
When I had loose teeth, I would not touch them.
Oh yeah, this one is dangling, and it's like moving when he talks. He won't take it out.
No, I wouldn't. It's my feeling. It's always my feeling on it. Okay, I'm stopping the recording.
Oh, okay. Bye.